This Fox meltdown is something to behold, isn't it? With the rising popularity of Vice President Kamala Harris, as she's now the presumptive Democratic nominee, each and every day, Fox has just done some of the most unhinged and so overtly political things because they don't even know how to handle it. It's embarrassing to even watch that they call themselves a news network like this. This was from earlier in the day where Fox cut their coverage of Kamala Harris's speech that she was giving because they said it seems like a campaign speech. Here, play this clip.
And God knows we don't pay you enough as it is. In this moment, we are in a fight for our most fundamental freedoms.
All right. So if we had any doubt that this was a campaign speech, you see that it is. Our guidance and our advisory on the speech was disseminated by the White House today, not the Harris campaign. Yet that's what this is. And it's.
Did you see that? I mean, Fox, which does all of the Trump propaganda events and literally holds rallies and town halls for Donald Trump on their various shows, they would not even allow their viewers to watch Vice President Kamala Harris deliver a speech. And then they have Kayleigh McEnany, I guess, try to scare people by saying, you know what you all need to prepare for? Camelot. Camelot. Here, play this clip.
That's who is now running for president of the United States. And Kamala Harris, I mean, Jesse, you know this well. Prepare for Kamala Camelot. Prepare for the mythologized age of the Kennedys, the shining administration on a hill. Prepare for Camelot. Camelot is coming your way. Beyonce already greenlighted her using the Freedom Song. Camelot is here, and everyone needs to be prepared.
Oh, okay. Here, by the way, you then have the purveyor of alternative facts, Kellyanne Conway. And here this was her criticism of Kamala Harris's speech today. Play the clip.
She had a great opportunity today to be for school choice in charter schools and educational freedom and opportunity scholarships. It is a civil rights issue of our time. It is the brightest line distinction between the two parties I can think of, Emily.
Then Fox has Donald Trump go on their network and he says, I'm not going to be nice. I'm dealing against real garbage, calling Kamala Harris and Democrats garbage. That's what Fox is platforming. They're cutting away from Vice President Kamala Harris's speech and then having Donald Trump go on and call her garbage, just to show you what it is that they're doing. Play the clip.
So hear me when I say, I know Donald Trump's type. And in this campaign, I promise you, I will proudly put my record against his any day of the week.
As the attack, what's the retort?
Well, I think it's disgusting, and I get a kick out of one thing. They say, sir, be nice. You just got hit with a bullet. Maybe he's changed. Be nice. And I'd love to be nice, but I'm dealing against real garbage. When you hear that, they've weaponized the justice system against me.
And that's how their propaganda works, just to be very clear. And they have people like Ted Cruz come on, and he goes, Kamala can't have my guns. Stay away from my cheeseburgers. I don't think anyone's taking your cheeseburgers, Ted Cruz. Here, play the clip.
Let me say at the outset, Kamala can't have my guns, she can't have my gasoline engine, and she sure as hell can't have my steaks and cheeseburgers. She is a radical California leftist, and to be honest, she perfectly captures where today's Democrat Party is.
And that's the thing. They try to distract and deflect and come up with all of these, fake issues so they can exploit their people. Like, don't you realize if you're watching this in Texas and you consider yourself a Republican, that Ted Cruz is laughing at you, that he's mocking you, that he is exploiting you for his own personal gain? Like, don't you realize what it is that he's doing? Here, by the way, is Newt Gingrich then going on Fox and having a momentary cognitive issue. Play this clip.
Washington news media comment, not the Hollywood movie made up comment.
Just even take a look at like the faces and gestures that Hannity's making here. Then Sean Hannity talks about how President Biden talked about President Biden's speech last night in the Oval Office. It was a great speech. I mean, a historic speech where President Biden said, look, I think my record speaks for itself, and I think I earned a second term, but I want to pass the torch to future generations. This country is bigger than any one person, and I want to pass this off to future generations and make sure that we have, new leadership in this country. It was a great, selfless speech, but Fox finds a way to attack it. Play this clip.
Joe Biden finally explained his decision in a very short 12-minute speech, mumbling, bumbling, stumbling, fumbling, frankly, to the American people, one that clearly showed his cognitive decline that was covered up by those around him and the state-run media mob. It was on full display, basically an average day. Take a look.
And then here you have Maria Bartiromo on Fox Business citing Chinese state media as her evidence that Kamala Harris hasn't done a good job as vice president. Play the clip.
Chinese state media is reportedly slamming Vice President Kamala Harris's performance in the White House as mediocre, saying she lacked the experience and achievements to serve as president. But Secretary of State Anthony Blinken is praising her job on foreign policy. Watch this.
It very much is her forte because, as I said, I've seen her not only around the world, but I've seen her on the most critical foreign policy questions of our time in the Situation Room at the White House, in the Oval Office with the president.
And throughout the show, that was like one of the main talking points that Maria Bartiromo used on Fox Business. She would go, I'm with China on this. Look, I'm going to go with what China says about Kamala Harris. Here, play the clip.
So, Mr. Chairman, how do you see this? What is your assessment of Kamala Harris on this ticket now?
So for once, I guess I'm agreeing with China on this. She's mediocre at best, and I'm not even sure she gets that rating. You look.
By the way, doesn't that say it all? Like, that's who the Republican Party is now. I mean, they are misogynistic, they are gross, and I won't even use. Sometimes when people say, "Hey, just don't do the name calling," and I think that's fair, but just take a look right over here at what they were recently saying about Vice President Kamala Harris. Play this clip.
And there's the DEI press secretary telling you that the DEI vice president is the future of the party here. And so the future looks kind of dim for the Democrats here, but this is no shocker either. Kamala Harris, she's the original Haktua girl. That's the way she got where she is. And the party's going downhill if it's in her hands.
That was tough. That was harsh.
I mean, really, you heard that? They were using sex slurs about her. They put Donald Trump on, who calls her garbage. I mean, meanwhile, you've got this guy, JD Vance, Donald Trump's VP pick, who AP ran a story that he did not have sex with a couch. The guy's changed his name 4 times. When he was growing up, he said that he was gay or believed he was gay, and now he's anti-LGBTQ+. By the way, the AP now like a right-wing extremist anti-LGBTQ+, and grew up, and he was talking about how he thought he was gay growing up. The AP also took down the page that they previously said that he did not have sex with a couch. So I don't know what's going on there. Did the Associated Press retract its fact-check article denying JD Vance had sex with a couch, is what Jacob Shamsian from Business Insider asked. And clips like this are emerging of JD Vance as well. So while the MAGA spews that propaganda, here's the most recent clip that's emerged of JD Vance saying that American citizens who do not have children should have less rights. He said this is in addition to his claim that the biggest threat facing our country are childless cat ladies. That's one of JD Vance's quotes. It's a major threat to democracy, he says. He also says that Americans who don't have kids should have less rights. Listen to him here. Play the clip.
When you go to the polls in this country as a parent, you should have more power. You should have more of an ability to speak your voice in our democratic republic than people who don't have kids. Let's face the consequences and the reality. If you don't have as much of an investment in the future of this country, maybe you shouldn't get nearly the same voice. Now, people will say, and I'm sure the Atlantic and the Washington Post and all the usual suspects will criticize me about this in the coming days. Well, doesn't this mean that non-parents don't have as much of a voice as parents? Doesn't this mean that parents get a bigger say in how our democracy functions? Yes, absolutely.
And while all of this is going on, I mean, think about what should be reported by the way. The U.S. economy is pulling off something historic. That's the new CNN headline. As Southpaw says, the thing about vibe shifts is that now you're getting headlines from CNN that would never have been written 10 days ago when they were pushing a narrative about President Biden. There was a robust 2.8% GDP growth in the second quarter, which was more than expected. It was expected to be 2% GDP growth. By the way, we're now in the 51 months of the fastest annualized GDP growth since 1969. Some important economic news. And what is Fox talking about right now? Well, they have Donald Trump go on, and Donald Trump says, my instruction is we don't need votes. I already have so many votes. Listen to what Trump said. Play the clip.
We have lawyers at every poll booth. We have, that's what in fact, my instruction, we don't need the votes. I have so many votes. I'm in Florida now, and I drove to another location yesterday, and every house has a Trump Vance sign on it. Every single house. There's not a house that we passed that doesn't. We have the votes. What we have to
drive
do.
by Charlie Crist's house then.
I know.
Just saying.
Charlie. I think Charlie probably has one up too. If you want to know that.
He's a Republican.
But everybody has. It's amazing, the spirit. And I'll say this. We had two elections. The first election, we did great. The second election, we did much better than the first election. But this election has more spirit than I've ever seen ever before. And that's because they've seen how bad these people are at government.
And next up Saturday in Minnesota. And next up Saturday in Minnesota.
Remember this, they're destroying our country, Brian.
Right.
They are destroying our country.
Mr. President, thank you so much for your time today. We'll be following that rally.
We told your communications team you would be out by 8 o'clock, and we went 90 seconds over. It sounds like you.
Oh, and by the way, this is Trump's friend from Project 2025, the founder, Kevin Roberts. Here's what he just said in a speech that we unearthed at the MeidasTouch network, which Fox, they want to talk about coming for hamburgers and just making stuff up. Listen to what the Project 2025 guy, who JD Vance, wrote the foreword to the guy's book. The book was called Burning Down Washington, D.C. That was just released. They changed the name of the title, but it was called Burn Down Washington, D.C. The author of Project 2025, JD Vance, wrote the guy's foreword in the book. Listen to what he just said. This is the founder of Project 2025, who's aligned, attached at the hip to Donald Trump and JD Vance. Play the clip.
The good news, I told you I would tell you why it's bad, maybe add a little bit of color, but also tell you why we're going to win. We are winning. There are a lot of victories that have been secured. Some of them are partial. Some of them in ways that the other side doesn't yet know are foundations for what's coming. And that's just the beginning. And we're not going to tell you everything that's coming. Because for the first time that I'm aware of, the conservative movement, or as I really like to put it, the common sense movement in the United States, has really nothing to do with ideology, is ready to fight.
Well, watching these Fox meltdowns is something to behold, but we got to get out the facts about the economy, what's going on, how Fox is doing this propaganda. It's on us to get out the message. So I know you will, but hit subscribe, tell people about this network. It's growing rapidly. I think we'll hit 3 million subscribers soon. So thanks for watching and have a good one.
Love this video? Make sure you stay up to date on the latest breaking news and all things Meidas by signing up to the MeidasTouch newsletter at MeidasTouch.com/newsletter.